Hey everybody, it's Monday night, December the 15th, and we're having some market struggles right now. Might even could still call it consolidation. When you look at SPX, S&P 500, and I believe SPY as well. I believe they're still above their 1020 cloud. The Qs, I believe, did, I want to say, make that close below the 50. Let's check that real quick. So I was looking at oil earlier. Let's SPX. Running a little slow tonight. So yeah, we're still above the 20 EMA right here on S&P 500, and let's check the Qs because I want to say I saw a close below the 50 today. Yeah, yeah, right on it. We say on it. Let's not say below it right here. We're right in that area. So big day tomorrow for the Qs. Got that W look going, or M, whatever you want to call it. Break of this high right here would be bullish. Let it consolidate right here and then break through that high and then go up here back into all-time highs. That's definitely a plausible idea. 600 would be a key Livermore level down here if we do break below that 50. And you can see this prior drawn level right around 604, so maybe like a little dip down to 600. Reclaim 604, build pressure back up, and work back towards the all-time highs. We'll see. Let's give the market, it's a fair chance here. But right now we're still in an uptrend attempt on QQE, uptrend on the S&P 500 equal weight RSP. I do have some charts to show you tonight. Just a couple of quick charts of note. Let me bring those up. So for one thing, something concerning. This is SMH, so semiconductors versus SPY, and you can see here when they cross below that 50, that blue line right there. That's generally not a good thing. Here we cross above it. Took a little dip underneath it. You can see the dip down here on price. But bottom line is in this area, we moved back above the 50 EMA and it was good. And then of course right here, when we moved right below it, even for just that short time, it was really bad. And so for as far as tomorrow goes, semiconductors, on watch tomorrow. We've got this potential break of the 50 moving average. Let me find my charts here. Oh, mouse giving me a little trouble tonight. What's going on? When the market struggles, we all struggle. All right, so a couple of charts of note. This is just a way of looking at breadth. And what I wanted to note, on the bullish side of life, right now our key moving averages are still above the 50. These blue lines, let me get this crosshairs off. We're still above the 50 EMA. So our moving averages are all above the 50 EMA. This is small caps, mid caps, and the S&P 500. So when you look at that, that's still, again, a bullish sign, more of a pullback scenario right now. Oh, all right, and then, uh-oh, there we go. Ooh, I was like, what? Thought we lost everything there. So this also, the NASI, I went ahead and added in the zoom out little toenail here for you because look right here. We technically have hooked down right there. That's that red right there. So up here, oh, excuse me, up here, we are technically hooking red right there. So that's not good for the NASI. The S&P 500 chart on the intraday look, this blue gap up here, it just seems to keep calling the name of that S&P 500. Like it wants it to come down in there until and tap it, or fill it. But note right here, look how strong it is on this support level. This is a prior drawn key level from way back here we had drawn, and it's just held up really well. This red is sort of a good above, bad below situation that we had drawn up. Nice little wedge break here, but then it failed. Failed wedge break, and from failed moves come fast moves. And so here's our failed move, here's our fast move, and then now consolidating for that next move. Price is definitely starting to tighten up. So, would it be tomorrow necessarily we see that big move? I don't know. But this blue gap right here, it seems to be calling price. We got a very not good divergence occurring right here with RSP and QQE. So this is basically like equal weight S&P 500, and this is equal weight for the Qs. And so this is a little broader. And boy, if this thing busts, down through this wedge, I think that's going to be a bad thing. So we're already declining here. So we have what's called a divergence. and we don't want to see that join that lower pane. SPY, looking at SPY right here, just kind of consolidating. Like I said, holding the 1020 cloud for right now. The concerning part is the Chaikin money flow. Shows that volume is about to cross zero, and if it does, that's going to be a bad thing. Doesn't work every time. Excuse me. Doesn't work every time, but going negative right here is generally where the bad things do occur. Again, not always. So we just had chop right here, but it decent pullback, mostly chop, and then recovered, but then pulled back. All of them occur. These larger pullbacks occur when we go below zero on the Chaikin money flow. So just keep that in mind. It's more of a sizing type situation. So looking right here, let's find our growth versus XLY, XLP. There we go. All right, so growth versus staples. So right now, actually, in terms of weighted and non-weighted, we are still going up. There's nothing to say there other than it's still putting in higher highs and higher lows. You can say, well, Phat, that's after the correction. Yeah, I'm talking about from here, from this correction here, we started putting in higher highs and higher lows. This is what I'm referring to. I know in the larger trend right here, so we never really got back above it. I get that. We didn't break these highs. We didn't break these highs. But it's still drilling up that way. Now, you can call that, kind of look at it and say, Phat, that looks sort of like an ascending wedge. Yeah, I'm not arguing with you on that. And then looking at XLK, so looking at tech versus SPY, key level, we really need to hold that level. Certainly we need to hold this low. Don't really want to be getting into the undercut phase of life. We'd just like to see a nice bounce right here by XLK versus SPY. Broke this wedge. XLC holding up really nice, so meta something to look at. And then consumer discretionary, really good break. Can't argue with price. Man, a little tired tonight. Can't argue with price. Trying to break this high right here, that would be very bullish. For right now, though, I would argue this is more of a basing situation probably, so a little pullback right here. We'll find out. Could be completely wrong on that, but that's my opinion, which I shouldn't give. Industrials, looking at XLI right here, clearly broke above this high right here, so that's really bullish. And we broke this wedge, and now we're into resistance on financials. So some consolidation by financials. Hell of a move, right? Great move. Everybody's been seeing people saying, oh, you should have been in financials the past couple weeks. Nice move, but now we're definitely into some overhead. Materials, not really impressive breakout as of yet. And then XLE just still failing to make that move. It's still set up like in a cup with handle on a price chart, but just will not make that move. Oh, excuse me. So XLU, trying to recover. Nice day. Led the sectors, I think, today. But actually is now, again, is back into resistance. Wouldn't surprise me after this weak-ass fail that I was long in where I had to get out, that it would fail right here as well and put in lower lows. Consumer staples, trying, it's wedging. In fact, we could probably change that drawing. We could probably go in there and annotate and probably add a wedge, looks like in here, right? See it starting to form right there. So we've got a little wedge situation forming on XLP, and see, you just kind of draw your lines, and so right there. There's 2 touches minimum, 3 is what you're after. 3 tappers, I call them, and this is just 2 tapper down here. But you set it up, and then if it comes into it and it backs off of it, then you're like, okay, there's our 3rd tap, and it just kind of reminds you also, in case you forget it. See, like now this one's too steep to like really set anything up. So just if you're into drawing the lines, if you don't know, if you're using candle charts, just always put a line chart on. That's the easiest way to kind of go in and start learning how to draw lines. Other people will say use the red closes or whatever. Just use the same thing every time, basically, to where you sort of get that picture in your head of what you're looking for. And it's just, it's a little practice. Save the changes, yes. All right, so we got a decent little, and you might could call that bear flag setting up right there, but just a little wedge setting up on staples. Let's see which way it goes. All right, so that's some key charts to look at. We'll just kind of roll through this a little bit. Global daily breadth is ugly. Right here, there's that divergence I was talking about earlier. You can see the Qs equal 8, and you see RSP. So really, if we're going to flush everything out, we need RSP to come on down here. But if you're more in a bounce situation, of interest, then you want RSP to hold up, right? You want the S&P 500 to hold up. Again, held the 1020 today, so not all bad. New highs, new lows, neutral. We're still bullish on all the McClellan oscillators, something I've gotten in quite a bit into watching, but right now, from all those sectors and indices, we're in a bullish territory still. And then breadth extension. So I really like tracking the 5-day on this, and yeah, it's still up there. It has started to come down. The 5 is gray, kind of hard for you to see it here, but basically all of them are up there. You want to see them all come down here, and that's where you reset the market cycle and then look to get in. So we're kind of in the tough area to get long. It has been for a couple of days now, really a week, 5 or 6 days. We've been, the time was earlier to get long and heavy. Right now it's long and light. Sector performance, yeah, utilities led the day right there, followed by healthcare, consumer cyclical. So, a bit defensive looking, no doubt about that. I was listening to Julia Assange talking about relative rotation graphs today, and he was talking about what is defensives anymore, and I agree with him. So many people talked about utilities and whether or not are they defensive, but those things can change so quickly nowadays. Just move right back to how it was. All right, let's go ahead and look at the relative rotation graphs. Oh, fat ETFs now. We no longer use the Moglin. We use fat. All right, so looking at it here. Size rotation. So what we have here, we got small caps still outperforming. Russell 2000, little dip by. S&P 500 growth ETF. Mid caps, that's a beautiful acceleration on Monday. Look at that nice, boy, that's looking good for the mid cap. So, not seeing the market crash here, when we're looking at it on this chart, not one bit actually. Classic sectors, taking a look here. Let's change the arrow. So XLP, decent day today. XLF, very strong acceleration today. Remember, this is a weekly look, but this is the first day of the week. And good acceleration by XLF. Good acceleration by XLR, XLE. What I do like seeing is right here off the bat, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the improving sectors. XLY with a nice hook turn coming to join it. XLE trying to get its heading on track as well. And so in a very short time, we're actually seeing, look at these tight turns right here. We're really starting to spin back, and that's good. We want to see all these guys start heading towards that leading quadrant. And XLK, the granddaddy, will just turn back up right here, and this will have just been a dip by. That would be wonderful to see right there. It looks good. All right, so finance. I mean, looking good, man. XLF joined in the fun with KRE, which had been, kind of on its own with the regional banks. XLF had been dragging, but now has made that full turn. Really, I mean, they look good. They look real good. So definitely joining the banking thing was definitely holding up nice. Industrials. I thought PAVE had a good day on price today. Nice relative strength, probably a good one to target. Matter of fact, let's look at that. Here. PAVE. Top holdings. So wanting to kind of get on this bandwagon right here. Jets looking like it's fixing to cross over into the leading quadrant. Good for Jets. They're really strong. Price starting to thin out a little bit. So in top holdings, let me bring it over for you so you can see them. You can go back and look at it, pause it, rewind it, whatnot. So we got Howmet, Aerospace, we got Fastnail, United Rentals, CRH, Norfolk Southern, Parker Hannifin, Quanta Services, Power. That's one that was a Stock Talk Insiders play. Train Technology, so a lot of infrastructure, right? And then Deere. So pretty strong in terms of the infrastructure ETF, and it held up really well today. Let's look at a couple of those since we're seeing that showing some strength here. HWM out of the Aerospace Blaze. Ooh. Holding the 50, nothing about the volume impressing me there. FAST. Yeah, this is a 200 moving average, trying to get back above it. Here's your 30 week, and you know, it already got back above the 50, but it's a little bit of a three gapper situation, isn't it? Too high, too fast, maybe. And then URI. Not looking so great. CRH. A little bit extended. NSC, Norfolk Southern. Got a couple more here. Oh, that one's looking good. So railroads busting loose right there. Boy, look at that move off the 50. 4 5%. And then PH, Parker Hannifin. A little pullback. And power, let's look at power and train. And John Deere. These guys are all kind of connected in there. So power, close below the 50. TT. And DE. So John Deere, truck and farming machinery. Another one of those too high, too fast type situations. Look at the volume not supporting it. Boy, that's not what I wanted to see. All right, and then Robo trying to push back into leading, looking good there. So, you know what? They're heading in the right direction. We just, you know, they're gonna as the market's not moving, then these guys price wise are not gonna move as much either. So, we need to see the market in general get off its butt a little bit. Technical term. Housing, trying to make that move, right? I mean, I'm interested in these. Let's look at ITB. I was looking at these guys earlier in XLRE. So they're holding up off some key levels. So we got a $100 level for ITB. Came down here, blew through it, and then gapped right up into it. And I like the volume starting to come in on it. Just need a little setup here. Let me take that off. That's old. Need a little setup. You know, we don't have one right now. Need a little volume dry up. XLRE, I like it. It's a nice bottom play on XLRE. I think everybody sees it, but so anywhere down in here, you know, we've got a nice area to pick up price. Anywhere just above this $40 level. A lot of opportunity here. Would love for it to break through here on intraday volume, break through 41.09 ought to get the party started on volume. Look at the volume pattern change on XLRE. So little bottom play opportunity at the bottom of the base. Of course, you can play DRN as a 3X if you want. So there's 5% move to the top of the base. We're having to really look for plays though, right? All right, let's go consumer and retail. I'm still not convinced on XLY. I mean, it's close to breaking out actually of its base. XLY. It's not sport on the volume. We had pretty good volume today, but not overwhelming volume to break that base. I guess technically it put in, what is that, all-time highs? Yeah. Can't argue with price. So XLY technically, you know, putting in all-time highs. Again, is it too high, too fast? Move right there. Faded a little bit today. Wouldn't surprise me if we pull back again to that 1020 cloud and build up for another move. But it's a good day for XLY. Tesla led, of course. TH. Oh, missed one. Technology. And when we look at technology, let's see which one is actually, you know, holding up. And when we look through it, I think first one I see is Robo. And that is about it. The rest of them, you know, don't have a very good heading. Or, you know, you could argue BBH. I mean, the biotechs, which they've kind of become tech. You know, so why do you have it in your fat? Because they've sort of become tech plays off the AI stuff. So PPH and BBH, that's about it. So pharma bios, iDrive with the little flip around right there, probably Tesla LED. And Robo is probably Tesla LED. You know, Robo. So Tesla is basically what we're looking at right here. That's what's showing off in tech right now. Nothing else, basically, is showing out. Good for Elon. Healthcare and bios. I mean, they're still over here in the range. Now, IHI coming in behind. We talked about that last week. Medical devices. So let's check ISRG. It's an old stem. Oh, nice move today. Yeah, I was going to say we can get in on that one. Boy, look at it right off that key level. Good volume, accumulation volume today. Boy, this would be one to get in off a little mean reversion off today's candle. Or any kind of a pullback. Oh, magnets on. Any kind of a pullback to this earnings VWAP right here. You can see that's holding up really well. Now, the further we get along and off the earnings, the less that VWAP will be as important. But, boy, I'd like a shot at this one. Oop. Would like that to stay in place right there. That's one to keep an eye on, ISRG. Let me write that one down. What we got here? Let me check oil real quick here. Get my eyes on it. WTI. Starting to tighten up a little bit. On the big picture, it looks absolutely like shit. Right there. Let's check futures. Had the quarterly reset, so don't worry about that gap up. All right, and energy. So XLE, again, trying to hang in there, just waiting on it. You saw oil, I mean, just waiting on it to try to do something. SLX, steel, still hanging in there. Steel hanging in there. Looks good. And then we've got our cyclicals. I mean, they're coming. Ain't no doubt about it. Look at RTH, IYT, Jets, XLY, PAVE. So, you know, discretionary money is being spent. I mean, you can see it coming. It's a big old left hook coming. Ain't no doubt. Home construction, trying to make that move. Home builders, trying to make that move. Retail, making that move. Consumer discretionary, making that move. Infrastructure development, making that move. So from that standpoint, we're looking at dip buys right now on the S&P 500. I mean, that's a left hook coming. They're all accelerating in velocity. That's spending. Yep, that's it for that. All right, let's go ahead and look at our setups. And I'll tell you, we don't have a lot. Get my Deepvue up here. Let's take a look at. Let's look at the themes before we start. So healthcare today, medical, airlines, and utilities. That's what held up as far as the themes go. And then let's look at Traders Lab. Let's see what's happening with the sectors. We got pharma leading, copper producers, shipping, silver miners, and lithium. And we got banks is down to number 6, natural resources, gold miners, airliners, and wind. As far as setups goes, Velo still hanging a setup. That's why I'm holding on to it, even though it's painful. You can see the chart right there, but still technically setting up, so I'm holding on to it. Yep. All right, let's go ahead and check our setups for tomorrow. And this has never happened before. Let's see. There we go. There's some setups. So, look like everything kind of froze up on me right there. All right, let's go ahead and start looking through them. So TMO. So let's look first. Let's see what we got here. Oop. Let's see what we got. Healthcare, looks like healthcare. So our pharmas and bios still dominating the setups, and that's not what we want to see. We want to see semiconductors. We want to see, maybe utilities, something we can make money off of. These pharmas are, they can drop huge amounts overnight. And thought I just saw. Nope, they're all. Oh, there's a steel setup. So we saw steel looking good. So Vail giving us a nice setup. I don't like gap up, gap downs, but I'm really wanting to get in those steel plays. I think it's, when you look at the chart, it's SLX. Is that right? Yep, Van Eyck Steel. We need a little pullback there. Don't have the pullback yet. So got away from me right here. I was in CLF. It didn't work out in the sector. Moved away on me a little bit. Let me check something here. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's get back to our setups. So we know right now that we're going to have a lot of bios in our setups, but let's see what we got. Let me grab a sip of wine here. All right, TMO, healthcare equipment, DHR. I know HCA, I think, I wanted to get in it today. Just didn't quite do it for me. DHR. So I'm looking for something with really good relative strength, and this is just, decent relative strength. MAT, so leisure products. How'd Viking hold up? I want to check that real quick. Hold up very well. Jeez, man. Give me a pullback, please. So MAT is decent. HXL. No, don't like. So one of the things you're looking at in low volume pullbacks, you don't want to see these big bodied candles, and obviously you'd rather it hold that 1020 cloud. I use the EMA though. You have to realize the SMA could be lower, so it's just in that general area. And I've got some parameters in place, so I'm within a certain amount. But this again, relative strength. Looking for something pretty strong tonight. CYME. Pretty good relative strength right there. Oh, what's going on with this guy? Bioplay. If you're going to play one, I mean, yeah, could. BRKR. I just don't like. I'd rather play the health plays like, like HCA, like I was looking at today. I think it's on here too. I saw it earlier. CSCO. So Cisco, that's a pretty nice hold up, right? Boy, gotta add that on there. MRUS, no. HCA. So, was interested in playing it through this high today. Relative strength's not looking good. I know I said I wanted one with relative strength. Still above our support level, coming off this 50. I like these ones when they do gap down, but they put in the upside reversal because you can buy them through that high of the day, and you generally fill this gap most of the time. So I like this one. HCA, still keeping that on the list. HASI, nice low volume. Good volume pattern, and then nice low volume dry up. We've got the RMV, which we haven't been seeing those of late. Yeah, I like that one. Nice RMV I haven't seen RMV hasn't been tightening up. So yeah. So Google, I mean, yeah, that's a good looking low volume pullback right there. WAT, no, too much distribution. ADMA, beautiful relative strength. Would rather it back into this 20, but man, if I'm going to play a bio, I'd need better volume. We'll pass. CPRI, there's your volume. See, that's what I'm talking about. When I say volume, it's obvious volume. Look at the relative strength. Yeah, that one goes on there. BKH, no. MRK, not bad. Steel play veil. Um, the rest of the ETF moving, it had its move right here, gapped up a couple of times, and then again, big bodied candles, trying to stay away from that. MKSI semiconductor. Ooh. Is that the only semiconductor shown? Here's another one. Form. Oh yeah, Form. I like Form. And FSLR. We got a couple of semis setting up here. What? Okay. So big body candle, don't like that. I do like this. So we get this nice pivot level, so that breaking that high of the day. Nice support level right there. So yeah, somewhere right in this low of the day right here, we got pushed back up to right here. So you're looking at yeah, something like that. So through that high of the day, go back up to all-time highs. Look at that relative strength. Nice. MO, Leisure Products, no. A little bit shaky. MCK, no. Nope. Nope. Is that flow serve? Good relative strength. Want to see a little more volume dry up. Form. I mean, yes, please. Semiconductor and a low volume pullback. I mean, low volume setup, I should say. So the volume, what I call setup, so it's below average, but it's not down here with volume dry up. So a little bit of a low volume setup. Opportunity on Form. Yeah, I know I said the big candles, but it's holding that 20 right there, and that is so classic of the breakout, pullback, bust, pull back to that 20 EMA right. When it pulls back right on it, that's so classic. FSLR. Reclaim that support level. Yeah. I mean, we got to take a shot on that one. It's starting to tighten up right here. See how it's slightly holding that 50? It's just being bought off that 50 day. One of those character things. Look at that. Yep. Starting to get a little tight. So like that. And like that. See how price starting to tighten up? Right there, man. That looks good. FSLR. I did not expect to see. That's why I got to do this every night, man. There's people sitting at home right now talking about a market crash, and we got semiconductor set up in Form, FSLR, MKSI. Never played that one. Apparel, and then Google connected to all that too as well. REIT, Hassie, connected to it as well, and then a health play. So we got a health play, and we got one little outlier. Who was that outlier in here? I thought I saw one. CRP, Capri Holdings. Let's take that off. So we're limiting ourselves to the semiconductor related and HCA, which is a strong health company play. So that's pretty good. Man, I like that. Some good looking setups right there. Go ahead and take those, copy those up. All right, let's leave it at that, guys. That's pretty good little setups for tomorrow. I did not expect to see. So We've got HCA. Let's go ahead and let's look at it on. You know what? Let's check these guys out right here, right now. Let's check them on the relative rotation graph. So we got HCA, Google, HASI, MKSI, Form, FSLR. That's a good little number right there. Oh yeah, look at them all over there, looking strong, looking good, man. All right, now let's take these guys. Let's add them onto our watch list. Let's just check them on our regular trade view chart. Tomorrow, so 12/16/25 setups. Let me add these guys in. HCA, Google, HASI, MKSI, FORM, and FSLR. All right. So HCA. Yep. Reclaim that earnings VWAP, and then Google, just a nice low volume setup right there. HASI, same thing, just a nice low volume setup. MKSI, don't like that big bodied candle. Willing to work with it though, being a semiconductor. Form. Yeah, signs of institutional accumulation. This is a good looking play right here. Got a nice cup. Look at that volume accumulation during this pullback. They're coming in and picking it up today. That's a bit of an anti-culling type candle, right? High volume, tight open and close. Looks like loading to me. FSLR. You know, we're buying it off this range right here. We're buying off this bottom of this range to ride it back up, and I mean, just riding it back up would be 10% move, so it's a pretty volatile stock. Looks good. That's it, guys. We got HCA, Google, HASI, MKSI, Form, and FSLR, and that's all semiconductor related, and One Health right there. Hope that helps you, and good luck tomorrow. Have a good night.